Hello world, this is Carole from Viva Vacation, and today my husband and I are going to be doing our first travel podcast as we just started our 30-day European vacation.
Hi, everyone. Very happy to be here and excited to share our first travel leg of the trip, all about London.
Yeah, so we've just finished our 3 days in London, and we are going to share our experiences with you guys on that part of our trip. So I'm going to start by just explaining what we did to prepare for our London trip. Probably more me preparing than you, right, honey?
Absolutely.
So I had done a lot of research on London, and I had found online an itinerary for a 3-day London trip where all the sites or the tourist sites were more like in one area of the city. So it limited the walking time and the transit time. So this is what we followed for our 3 days. We did buy most of our tickets in advance, which I would highly recommend doing because it did save us a lot of time in line. Actually, we didn't really wait a lot, right?
You didn't wait at all. Just make sure that you give yourself enough time between tickets to get there and make sure that you can accommodate if you miss the bus or the train or something. So it's always good to give yourself a little breathing room.
Perfect. So do you want to start with day one?
Sure, yeah.
So on the first day, we started off visiting Kensington Palace and its gardens. So basically, the Kensington Palace is one of the many residence or properties of the British royal family, and this one's been it's been in operation since the 17th century. It's actually a working royal residence, and it's where Princess Diana lived for 15 years. And we also saw her memorial, which sits in the garden. So it is the official London residence of the Prince and Princess of Wales, for those of you who follow the British monarchy.
It's kind of a self-guided walking tour where you can pick up some of those little recordings and headphones and kind of walk through. It's kind of they direct you with arrows, and there's always very polite employees around to kind of direct you if you can go astray. But it's kind of a walk through, and there's beautiful rooms with beautiful paintings and furniture. And while we were there, there's also like some really neat fashion clothes from various galas and events in London worn by some famous people such as
Lady Gaga
and
Dan Levy.
That's right. Yeah, you remember all the names. Yeah, so that was kind of neat too. And there's some beautiful staircases up and down the building. So a really nice experience.
Yeah, the exhibition on the like the fashion part of it was called Crown to Culture. Was that the name of it?
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was actually an exhibition in the Kensington Palace, which was really interesting. But we also got to see like some crown jewels there as well, and like you can really it was a good way to start with the smaller palace, I guess. And we got to see, like, buildings that are so old and full of history.
That's right. And it's also close to Hyde Park, so we walked a little bit around in Hyde Park as well, and we saw some beautiful swans in I think it's called the Round Pond, which is just next to the Kensington Palace as well. So some great photo opportunities there if you like bird watching. All kinds of birds around, and as I said, the swans are just really beautiful and nice to look at.
Yeah, it was a beautiful park, and what struck me the most is all the dogs are loose and so well behaved. We have a dog, and
it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work at all. But all the dogs, they just, walk around their owners and they don't stray. So that really impressed me. But it was a beautiful, beautiful park. So next, where did we go?
Well, after that, I think we walked to Paddington Station, where that's not too long of a walk, maybe 15-minute walk, where we took 2 trains, and that took us to Windsor Castle.
Yeah, Windsor Castle was beautiful. It's the oldest and largest occupied castle in the world, and it is open to visitors throughout the year. It was founded by William the Conqueror in the 17th in the 11th century, and it was home to 40 monarchs. Um, we visited quite a few sections in there, although the St. George Chapel, which is in the Windsor Castle, was closed because we were there on a Sunday, so we weren't able to see that, and we didn't make it in time to see the changing of the guard. But that one blew me away.
It's pretty impressive. I mean, just the architecture and the size of it, and the walking tour. Again, there's another self-guided walking tour with the headphones and the little recorded soundtrack that gives you all the details. But just walking along the walls and the towers and the turrets and seeing all those great views, and inside the building as well, there's some really great artwork. However, just so you know, inside Windsor Castle, photos and filming aren't allowed, so you got to commit those beautiful artworks to your memory. But it's really nice to see, and we saw the amazing doll houses as well, and armories with historic weapons and all kinds of great little placards with historical facts. But just an amazing place to go look at. And there's like the remnants of a moat, which is really cool if you're into history and architecture, but very impressive grounds.
Yeah. Like you mentioned earlier, it was a little bit of a hike. So I think it's about 35 kilometers outside of London. So we did have to take 2 trains, but all in all, I think it may be a 30-minute train ride, about right. That. And it is like in the town, like the town of Windsor, and which is very close to Eton. And all around Windsor Castle, it was a little, like a really touristy town. Lots of shops and shopping and
pubs and all kinds of places to buy treats and candies and donuts and coffee.
Yeah, but it was jam-packed.
It was very busy.
Yeah. So keep in mind that when we planned our trip, we did not know, of course, at the time that the coronation would be happening on Saturday, and we were here from Sunday to Tuesday. So there's a lot of things that they are preparing for the coronation, and we're not quite sure what would be there normally and not because of the coronation. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that. So we're not sure if the number of people that are in London is normal for this time of year, but quite a lot of people in town.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to end our first day, we are fortunate enough to be in London with our son and his girlfriend, and during that evening, the younger guys wanted to go on the London Eye, which is very close to our hotel. So we walked there, and while they were on the London Eye, which is, how can you describe that, the London Eye? It's like
it's a great kind of gigantic spinning kind of Ferris wheel with big kind of gondolas where you can go. That fits about 25 people or so, and it's about a 30-minute ride up and down, and it's I think it's over 400 feet high, and you get a great view of the city. You can see for 30 miles across the cityscape from what we've been told. So really, it's iconic London, right? The London Eye. It's really amazing to see.
So what we did was we strolled along the Thames River that night. It's very touristy. We felt extremely safe, to be honest, walking around our hotel. I had chosen a hotel which was close to the Parliament. It's in like right at the end of the Westminster Bridge. And I think we all feel that it was a great place for a hotel because it was quick access to a lot of things.
Yeah, very central, and you can see the historic Tower Clock of London, which everybody calls Big Ben. It's just right there, right in our front door. So, and the Thames River is like a 5-minute walk from the front door of our hotel.
Yeah. So let's skip to day 2.
Day two.
Day 2
was a great day.
Great day. They all were.
So day 2, we started off taking the hop on, hop off bus and heading out to the Tower of London.
Yeah, the Tower of London. Wow, what a sight. So the Tower of London is a royal fortress and a London landmark. The building and grounds served historically as royal palaces, political prisons, places of execution, where they held arsenal. It was also used for the royal mint, the menagerie, and public records office. So over the last, I can't do my math right now, but almost the last 1,000 years, it's been used for a lot of things. It has 13 different towers over 18 acres, just to give you an idea of its size.
Yeah, the Tower of London was really quite impressive. We spent about an hour and a half there, but really you could easily spend a day there
Yeah.
with all the shops. And if you listen to all the self-guided tour and try to see everything, but we kind of sped through and walked around. But it's just so amazing, so impressive. And I think it was one of my favorites, historic sites so far. We visited the armory again. We saw the crown jewels, except a lot of them were not there because they're going to be used in the coronation. And some sections you can take photos, other sections you can't, especially the crown jewels, you can't take photos in there. But just an amazing building, and just neat to walk around. And it's right on the Thames River and right next to the famous London Tower Bridge, of course, as well, which is, everybody thinks it's the London Bridge, but it isn't. So really historic site, iconic, that if you do go to London, I think I would recommend that you go see the Tower of London site. It's just amazing.
Yeah, the history. I mean, you could almost imagine what it would have been like way, way, way back, throughout the years. Like,
Yeah, and lots of artifacts that were like gifts from other countries, and some really neat sites that they had real lines there for hundreds of years. There was a polar bear there as well that they kept it's sad when you, by today's standards, but back then they had a polar bear that they kept on a chain, and he would go eat and swim in the Thames River. So really neat historic facts there that exist, and just a beautiful, beautiful structure with, again, great architecture and great art.
yeah. But like we said, because we were on a 3-day um, um, schedule, we had limited time and we wanted to go see a lot of things. So, we ended up doing things, but on the short version. Like Bernie said, you could have spent a day there. There were plays going on. There were tours. You could do the self-guided tour with the headphones. Anyway, I think we both absolutely love the Tower of London.
Yep.
And after that, we actually walked the London Tower Bridge, which was really neat because in a lot of big cities, you can't walk on a bridge, or, yeah, very seldom. I think you can.
Yeah, it's very touristy, very walking friendly, and you can actually go in the bridge or climb up to some of the towers. We didn't do that, but there a lot of people were queued up for that, to go through that experience. But really, really nice bridge. Again, it's over the Thames River, and so many great views of London in general. But yeah, it's a must do, I think, to go see the London Tower Bridge. Really nice.
Yeah, the architecture was amazing.
And it's about a 10-minute walk from the Tower of London site, so it's an easy walk.
Yeah. Up next, we went to the St. Paul's Cathedral.
That was another highlight.
That was another highlight. Amazing. Just the sheer magnitude of the building, the height, and most of all, the details in architecture. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, when they say cathedral ceilings, that's really cathedral ceilings. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And it's built in the inside, anyways. It's built in the form of a cross with different sections. So it's hard to describe without showing photos of it, but just impressive. The artwork on the big domes and the ceiling, and the amount of statues and memoriams of historic people in London and the UK. It's just really amazing.
Yeah, and it is where Prince Charles and Princess Diana got married. Excuse me. We did go, you could go up or down. So down was the crypt, and it was where a lot of the tombs of famous people were. So that was kind of neat. And even though you were like in a, well, it was underground, it really didn't feel underground. It had very, very high ceilings and all that. But we also decided to do the domes. Now that was interesting because you can go up to the domes, but there are 528 steps to go up, and of course you have to come down.
That's right. Yeah, really a challenging climb. If you do decide to do that, make sure you have good shoes and that you're fit enough, and because it is really a hard, long climb. And what makes it so difficult and challenging as well is, of course, the steps are all built in a small circular fashion, right? So they're uneven, and one is wide and narrow, and it's yeah, the hallways are very narrow, and you always have to pass through these things. And I'm not a particularly tall person, and even I hit my head on one occasion. So you have to make sure you look where you're going. But yeah, it's a very challenging climb, but well worthwhile because you get to the top and you see these amazing views of London, almost 360 degrees all around the city, and it's just spectacular.
Yeah. We like to do things once in a while on vacation that pushes ourselves a little bit, and that was definitely one of them. If you're claustrophobic, maybe not the thing for you, but your comment about the wear comfortable shoes, I think that could be said for all. Like if you're coming to London, please leave your high heels at home.
It's a walking city. There's lots to walk around.
So after we went to St. Paul's Cathedral, we weren't even done for the day. We walked over the Thames River on the Millennial Bridge.
Yeah, that's right. And then we ended up in front of the Tate Museum of Modern Art. We didn't go in there, but it's another iconic London site. But we did walk by the Shakespeare Globe Theatre, which is really cool as well. And then we kept walking and ended up in the Borough Market and had a nice supper there. We had the traditional English fish and chips and a beer and a nice British pub close to the Thames River. So that was really nice too. That was a nice London experience as well.
Yeah, for sure. Now we like to go to Broadway shows. So the four of us last night, we went to the Book of Mormon, which is a very popular, funny musical in the heart of the theater district. So, and it is at the Prince of Wales Theater. So all four of us really, really enjoyed the show. We thought it was really funny. The creators of South Park are the ones that created this show as well. I guess you'd have to have a certain type of sense of humor, right?
Yeah, if you watch South Park, you kind of know what to expect, but it's very irreverent and mocks so many things, culture, society, religion. But it's hilarious. It's so well written, and the music is really good. Great singing, great dancing choreography. Just a fun experience again. But make sure you read the fine print about the show itself. Because some people might find it offensive, but yeah, it's really funny.
But we thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So that was our day 2, a huge, I think yesterday you counted 23,000 feet, steps.
It felt like 23,000 feet, but yeah, about 23,000 steps during the day, including those 528 up and down at St. Paul's Cathedral.
Yeah, that's times 2 though, baby.
That's right, times 2.
All right, so day 3, that was today. So today was, we didn't have anything scheduled, so it was a little bit more relaxed, but we started off going to the Buckingham Palace. Now, a lot of you have heard of Buckingham Palace, but it has served as the official London residence of the royal family since 1837 and is the administration headquarters for the monarch. The staterooms are only open to visitors during the summer, so we weren't able to visit inside. But there are 775 rooms, 240 bedrooms, 92 offices, and 78 bathrooms. Tu trouveras pas une maison de même à Dieppe où me couche pas. You won't find a house like that near where we live. They have about 50,000 visitors per year, and they have one of the most famous balconies in the world. So, Buckingham Palace, because of the coronation, there was a lot of, like, we could walk around the grounds, but a lot of things were blocked off by police, and yeah.
Yeah, they were in operational get ready mode for the coronation. So there's a lot of barriers everywhere, a lot of police and security and barriers and fencing. And there must have been 40 or 50 white tents where the media is going to be, and they're already setting up the microphones. But it was still kind of a neat experience to see all that, the preparation for that. There were some police officers walking around with drug sniffing or bomb sniffing dogs in the tulip garden, so that was kind of interesting to see. And also just the grandeur of Buckingham Palace is just amazing. The gates, it's just so impressive. Like all these iconic buildings in London, they're breathtaking. They're just so amazing and large, and the details in the windows and the buildings with the concrete. It's just it's hard to describe.
Yeah, it's something you actually need to see. It's hard to kind of imagine it otherwise. But one of the things you mentioned, the preparation, I mean, there were people camping out.
That's right, yeah.
We're Tuesday today, the coronation is on Saturday, and it was cold today. Like the other days there was a lot of sun in the afternoon, but today was a colder day.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine camping for 5-6 days on cement just to wait for a glimpse of the new king. But so we had an outside, I guess, tour of the Buckingham Palace. Then we walked along the long entryway. So we entered from the back and walked out. It's a very long driveway, if you want to say it that way, and all along it you have all the flags of the Commonwealth countries, which was impressive as well.
Yeah, really nice, beautiful walkway along the way, and that took us to Trafalgar Square, which is really another iconic London site with those 4 big lions, and just the National Gallery of Art is there as well. And it's just a beautiful place, a beautiful big public space where there's lots of tourists walking around. And it's a great place to take photos and just kind of be in the big city vibe, to just kind of sit there on the stairs and just kind of take it all in. And the big red London buses are going by. And it's just one of those iconic spots in the middle of London.
Yeah, it was a neat spot. We didn't spend, maybe we spent...
half an hour.
Half an hour?
Yeah, maybe a bit more.
The National Gallery is right there, right?
That's right.
Yeah. We didn't go in there. Apparently it's free, but we were a little tighter on time, and we decided to skip that. All right. So then we took the hop on, hop off again. We like to use those in the big cities, because in between what we're going to see, the bus takes you through parts of the city that you probably wouldn't normally get to see, and you have, like, they tell you information about the parts that you're going through. So we kind of like to use those when we can.
It's a bit faster than walking as well, and cheaper than taxis or Uber.
Say so. That's right. So then the last hop on, hop off we took today, we went back to the Tower of London area. And we took a cruise back to our hotel. Now, it's not a big cruise ship. It was just a small ship. Can you even call that a ship?
Yeah, it's a ship. Yeah, so it was kind of one of these probably about 30-minute cruise along the Thames River with a very humorous kind of captain kind of describing the buildings going along the Thames, and some facts about the buildings, and some funny commentary about his attending local pubs as part of his research for his job. So it was quite funny. But yeah, nice, slow, leisurely boat ride along the Thames River, and you get to see the buildings in London from a different angle, from a different perspective as well.
Yeah.
But if it's too cold, it might be a bit uncomfortable. But it was nice today. It wasn't too bad. I have to dress appropriately.
Yeah, that's for sure. I had a lot of layers on most days, but the sun did come out a few times. So today we are like that was our day today. Tonight we are planning on going to another show. The show is called Witness to the Prosecution, and it should be interesting. It's in an old courtroom, and it's based on one of Agatha Christie's books. And you are in the courtroom, kind of hearing evidence. So you're trying to solve a mystery during the show. So I think there is like participation from the crowd to some extent while the show is going on. So we're kind of anxious and excited to go see that tonight as we kind of wrap up our London 3 days.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting too. Yeah, it's going to be good to see that show.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts on London?
Well, so we've been to a lot of North American cities in our 20 years together. But I have to say, like for a large city, it was surprisingly very clean and I felt safe for most of it. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Very, very clean, and like some places are in fact so spotless. You think that wow, how do they keep this so clean? But I think at night there's a little army of workers who go around and clean and sweep up the garbage and those kinds of things. But yeah, London is really interesting. I found it was a blend of modern, old, and then just downright ancient. So there's these spectacular glass skyscrapers next to these 500-year-old buildings with amazing kind of detailed architecture, just technology all around, and flashing billboards. But then you get these iconic old buildings. So yeah, really, really nice city. I think one of my favorite big cities that I've been to so far. So much to do, so much to see. Great place to people watch. There's people from all over the world here. So many different cultures and fashions, and just a really interesting place with a big city vibe, but also lots of people just going about their business, going to and from work and doing their things, and but lots of tourists as well.
yeah, one of the things that I was extremely surprised for a big city was we almost didn't see any homeless people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Very few. Like,
yeah, just a couple of sections there was a few people, but yeah.
yeah, in comparison to our own little city, it was like very noticeable the difference. Yeah, I felt it was easy to get around. Of course, as you know, I'm always focused on safety. So for me, feeling safe is a big thing. I felt totally safe in London. People were polite. Um, and yeah, I would definitely come back.
Yeah, one of the things, yeah, I agreed. One of the things that we wanted to mention as well is if you can get a direct flight from North America, it definitely makes things a lot easier in terms of getting here. We flew from Halifax, and it was about a 5 hour flight, 5.5 hour flight, sorry. And yeah, nice experience. And Heathrow is about an hour or so outside of London if you're planning on staying in central London, so you have to factor that in as well. But overall, London's been a great city, and I think we would definitely come back again.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So that wraps up our podcast for London. I hope you enjoyed it. We are continuing on our Europe tour, and our next stop will be Barcelona. So hopefully you can join us for that one in probably 3-4 days as we experience the beautiful city. Um,
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Barcelona. It's going to be different culture, different experience. We've never been to Spain, so it's going to be really nice.
and that's a wrap, guys. Until next time, Viva Vacation!